Hey there, Gina Orlowski, and I am here to help you get going with your gut protocol program. I just finished up my 4 weeks. I got amazing results, both internally and externally, and I'm feeling like a new person. However, it was a lot of work to look through the program, understand the program, and I want to kind of take away some of the overwhelm for you to give you my best tips to make sure that you can have success with this program throughout the 4 weeks as you go through. I'm going to talk about 3 things. The first one is going to be preparation. I cannot stress enough how you need to be prepared before you start your day 1. If that means taking the next week, if you were planning to start in 2 days, I want you to take a full week to do this. If you can't do the following things in the next 2 days of when you wanted to start, please don't disregard the importance of being prepped to stay on task, because it's going to get tricky and hard, and the more prepped you are, the less you will fall off or less you will succumb to wanting to fall off. So first thing, for your preparation, as you get your program, you open up your program, you need to find your letter bracket. I sent this in the email that I gave you. You need to find which letter bracket you are in to find your caloric target. This is going to tell you how many of the containers that you need to get in throughout your day for your caloric amount, whether you want to gain, maintain, or lose. Once you have that letter bracket, you're going to see that you get a certain number of containers. Within those containers and in the resources section of your video, you're going to see that you have food lists. The food lists are going to tell you the options of food that you can put into each of them. The next step is print those food lists out. And I want you to choose 3 foods that you could see yourself eating from each of the food group categories, the colored containers. However, with red and yellow, with your proteins and your carbs, I want you to pick 1 or 2 from the A column and 1 or 2 from the B column with carbs, and the same thing for your proteins, because you're going to see that those are actually split. You need to be getting different carbs and different proteins throughout the day. So you need to pick 1 or 2 from each of those columns with your carbs, 1 or 2 from each of those columns with your reds. So you know the types of foods that you're going to be using to make sure you have them in your house to get them into your diet. Once you've looked at the food lists and you've highlighted, you've made your choices, step number 3 is to break down your containers for each meal of the day. So what I mean by that is I was a plan A person. So I knew that I needed to get in 6 veggies. I needed to get in 4 proteins, 2 carbs, 1 blue, 1 orange, I think 2 purple, yada, yada. You know, with your letter. What you're going to do then is decide which containers am I going to use for breakfast? Which containers am I going to use for lunch, dinner, and my snacks? Don't worry about the food. Worry about what you know for your day you can get in. So if you are a really busy person, you know that you have to get in something for breakfast before you leave the house. You have to have a snack on hand. You have to have something easy for lunch, and then so on and so forth. So break that down. I knew that I always wanted to have a protein for breakfast. I could only have 2 carbs on my plan A, so I wanted 1 in the morning for breakfast for energy, and I always wanted 1 at dinner. So that's kind of how I broke it off, and I knew that I had to get that in somewhere. Look at your day and figure out which containers you're going to get for those 3 to, you really want to have some snacks in there too. So for all of those meals that you have, so your snacks and your meals, which containers. Once you've done that, you want to find your recipes. So you're going to see within your program that there is a video for meal plans and recipes. You can click on it and you can find some recipes that you know you would enjoy to make. I highly recommend looking at the bread for gluten-free bread, because most breads, as you're going to learn from Autumn, aren't okay that are in the stores. They have tapioca starches in them. You could make your own bread. I'd find a few dinner options. Just start with maybe 1 or 2 for the first week and see what sounds good to you. This doesn't have to be for the whole 4 weeks, but start small and start for that 4 weeks, or for that first week. Get maybe 2 or 3 recipes that you know you could handle if there's time, and hopefully there will be time. Once you have your recipes, your next step is to make your grocery list. So you're going to look at the items that you highlighted from the food list. You're going to look at your recipes, find out what ingredients you need for those, and you're going to get your grocery list ready to go. I went to 2 places when I did this. I went to Aldi. If you have an Aldi by you, they have amazing gut healthy items for the main food groups. And then I went to our local Meijer. For you, it might be, I'm not sure, Publix, whatever it is that you have by you, your big center where they're going to have more variety. You've made your grocery list. The next thing is you're going to shop. And the final step is you're going to prep, meaning you are going to start to prep your food. I really suggest, a big tip is to print and hang up your red container sheet and your yellow container sheet. I kept these on my cabinet in my kitchen when I would when I would meal prep and when I would cook, because it's tricky and you want to make sure you're getting the right foods that first week. It will really help you learn how to do this. If you don't have a place where you could hang it up in your kitchen, save it to your phone in a folder where you can easily access it as you're prepping, as you're cooking, and you can make sure you're getting in the right foods, especially because those carbs and those proteins are a little bit tricky. You can't just get everything from one certain carb or everything from one certain protein. Other than that, the first week is going to be the hardest. You're going to fall off. You're going to feel like it's a lot of dishes. You're going to feel like it's just so much. And it will be, but you have to remember that you're changing a lot. You're making a lot of changes for this, but they're going to be worth it, because when you wake up the second week, you're going to know what to make for breakfast. You're going to have a couple recipes under your belt. You're going to know your containers a little bit better. You're going to know how you break down your meals a little bit better. So it will be easier for you as you go on. But you have to work through that hard, because if you don't, you'll fall off, and you do not want to do that. So just know the first week is the hardest, but I promise you it gets easier, especially with your grocery shopping. I cut my grocery shopping down by like 40% the second time, and I was there for like 2.5 hours, between the two places, 2.5 hours the first week. Final thing, if you are somebody who truly suffers from gut sensitivity, or you're truly serious about doing this program, you have to make sure that you are doing it during a 4-week time period where you can actually respect the program and do the program as it's laid out. What I mean by that is doing it for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then you have an event coming up and you're like, well, I've been doing great, I'm gonna have a drink. Don't do that to yourself, because the program isn't meant to give up alcohol forever. It's meant to give your gut, give your system a break for 4 weeks from the things that really affect it, that really cause the bloating. Why do that to yourself? If you know it's only 2 more weeks, if it's only 3 more weeks, give it up completely. Truly eliminate everything. Obviously, there's going to be some mistakes maybe here and there, but the intentional ones that you can control, eliminate it. Eliminate it for the 4 weeks, because you will get better results that way, and you won't feel horrible the next day after going off of your plan, or maybe the day after when your body really starts to notice what happened. The other thing, tell the people around you what you're doing before you're doing it. You need other people's support. You don't need people around you commenting, why are you doing that, making you feel bad about it and making you question yourself. So give everyone a heads up. If you know you're going to dinner with friends, send them a text and just say, I'm doing this. I'm going to be eating a little bit differently. I really could use your support when I don't have a drink tonight, or I don't get dessert or something like that. Let your significant other, let your children know, let your parents know, let the people around you know what you're doing, and let them know what it means to you so they can support you also. You have no idea how helpful that's going to be when somebody says, I'm so proud of you for doing that, as opposed to, oh gosh, really? You're going to be eating like that forever? Come on, you can just have one drink. Stuff like that is not good to have, but you can prevent that by letting people know ahead of time that you're going to be doing it. And hopefully they're somebody who would support you and help you get through it, as opposed to make you feel guilty about it and question what you're doing. I hope this was helpful. Please look through the recipes that I sent, the graphics that I sent, so that you can find foods that are easy. And then if you don't like those, you can find your own. You're going to do amazing. You have my number. Let me know what you need. And I'm excited for you.